I rhyme for my life, I rhyme for my pay, I rhyme for my people out here doing it every day. I rhyme for the raw heads, I rhyme to the beat, I rhyme for the ears that been keeping it to the street. I rhyme for my life, I rhyme for my pay, I rhyme for the people out here doing it every day. I rhyme for the raw heads, I rhyme to the beat, I rhyme for the ears that been keeping it to the street. The underground overlord coming to town, oh my god, raw heads, you know my squad, real shit, no facade.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Mullet.
Welcome back to the streets, and welcome to our conclusion of night 2 of our 3-night racing series we're calling Legends of the Streets.
Each night features cars from a different decade. Night 1 was the 1950s and was won by Mark Rendos from Team Motown.
When we last left you, we were in the middle of night 2, cars from the 1960s. For
the Legend series, the cars race to see who can get to 5 wins the fastest.
So let's pick up right where we left off, in the middle of round 3.
Bones Malone and HB have scored the first 3s of the evening, and the rest of the pack will be doing what they can to try to catch them as fast as possible. Rolling up to the starting line now, a couple of Chevys, Vegemite versus SpongeBob.
Rolling. Camera 3. Rolling. Yep.
Looked like a dead nut start. But SpongeBob grabbed asphalt first and shot ahead for the win.
Putting SpongeBob on the board.
Up next, the GTO called Black Sheep from the 412 versus the Lincoln Future from Motown called Crystal Lee.
Yep. Black Sheep was snoozing at the line.
And Crystal Lee wins it by a couple of school buses,
keeping Crystal Lee in the undefeated club with Bones Malone and HB.
Up next, the Chevy Malibu called Goldfinger versus the 1969 Pontiac Firebird called the Bad Bird.
They tried to leave together, but Bad Bird spun tire at the line, giving Goldfinger about a 1-car lead.
And he carried that lead and a little more all the way to the finish line,
bringing Goldfinger into the 3 club.
Pulling up to the starting line, fastback Mustang called the Rental versus former Underground champion Wreck Vengeance.
He looked a little bit better when he won the Underground. Back then he was just plain Vengeance.
Yeah, you call him whatever you want to call him, brother. I'm calling him Wreck Vengeance.
Rental was sluggish coming out of the hole, and Death Vengeance made his best pass of the night.
Allowing Wreck Vengeance to limp his way into the 3 club.
Up next, our wild card car from the 1950s, the Spirit of 57 versus the Olds.
Spirit jumps out to the early lead,
but the Olds comes around about mid-track and takes the win by about 1 car length,
putting the Olds on the board.
Which brings us to round 4. Up first, Black Sheep versus Louise.
Black Sheep's a bit slow getting off the line, and he just couldn't reel that T-Bird back in.
Bringing Louise into the 3 club.
But that may be about to become passé because HB is trying to open up a can of 4s.
Rolling up to the starting line, HB versus Bluebell.
Camera 3. Mark. Sorry. Drivers? Yep.
And this time it was HB sleeping at the line, and he let Bluebell get out about a car and a half.
And the blue belt held that lead all the way across the finish line. And more important than the loss, it delayed the opening of the 4 Club. Next up, Purplelicious versus Moxie.
Camera 3. Yep.
Purplelicious hesitates at the line, and you can't do that with Moxie. Giving Moxie his second win of the evening.
Rolling up to the start, Goldfinger versus the Olds.
You know, if the Olds can get off the line fast enough, he might can beat that Malibu.
And this time it's the Olds sleeping at the line. And the Malibu gets out first.
But the Olds comes around on the big end for that win.
Let's take a look at that again in slow motion.
Well, the Olds passes Goldfinger by camera 2 and was still getting faster on his way to the finish line.
Whereas Goldfinger seemed to be losing power and slowing down.
And that gives the Olds his second win of the night. And more importantly, keeping Goldfinger out of the 4 Club.
And now, one car may be opening up the 4 Club, and one car might be getting skunked out of a win on this thing.
Motown teammates, the Crystal Lee versus Wrecked Vengeance.
Death Vengeance.
What'd I say?
Yep.
Death Vengeance made his first mistake of the night, hesitating at the light.
And Crystal Lee makes the most of it and gets Wrecked Vengeance for the win.
Making the Crystal Lee the first car to 4 wins.
Up next to the line, our 1950s wildcard car, Spirit of 57, versus the 1969 Camaro called Nightwolf.
Rolling. Camera 3's rolling. Travis?
Yep.
Spirit gets off the line first and was putting on a pretty good lead by camera 2.
And as you can see, both cars are having problems holding their lanes, but the Bel Air gets there first.
Giving Spirit of 57 3 wins. Now, any of these cars getting 3 wins in 4 rounds needs for one of these undefeated cars to lose at least 1 race.
Up next, we got the 69 Pontiac called Bad Bird versus the 67 Chevy Impala called Triple A.
Pontiac looked like it was leading at camera 2.
Yeah, and that Pontiac was bucking as she crossed the finish line, but she held the track and took the win.
Giving Bad Bird his second win of the evening.
Yeah, and I'll take that win, but for most of these cars, most of the wins are about pride now, because there's very little chance a car with 2 wins in the 4th round would be the first of 5.
And now for one of those undefeated cars. My 1960 Corvette, the undefeated Bones Malone, versus my 724 teammate Randy in the 67 Corvette called the Blatzmobile. Hey man, you ain't really going to try to beat an undefeated teammate, are you?
Absolutely. You don't see any teams here today. It's every man for himself.
So be it.
Camera 2. Camera 3. Yeah.
I left right with you, but you were too fast on the trigger for me to get in front of you.
But Bones was rolling. I didn't need your help.
Yeah, and that keeps him undefeated with 4 wins.
Up next, 2 cars with nothing but pride to fight for. A car with only a single win, SpongeBob, versus the winless Vegemite. Now would be a good time to go refresh your drinks, folks.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Camera 3. Yeah.
Well, we should have time to do it with that sluggish start.
Well, at least they left together.
but SpongeBob manages to push ahead for his second win tonight.
This race doesn't look like it's going to be much better. The winless rental versus a car with a single win, the Cali.
Rolling.
Camera 2, rolling. Camera 3's rolling. Drivers.
And that race was not surprisingly all Cali.
Giving the Cali its second win, and the rental is still looking for his first.
Which brings us to our fifth and final round of the evening. The Crystal Lee and Bones Malone are both undefeated and looking to close out the night early with a fifth win.
If both cars lose, we can see this night go on into a sixth or even a seventh round.
If one car wins and the other one loses, the winner takes a trophy.
And if both cars win, we'll get to have a final.
Nice! First up, we got Purplelicious versus the Bad Bird.
Purplelicious better be ready this time.
Yep, you ready?
Yeah, she was definitely ready. Purplelicious launches off the starting line.
And takes the win by 3 cars. Giving the Bad Bird 2 wins to end the night with, and Purplelicious finally cracks the seal and gets to take a win home.
One wins is better than none wins.
Up next, 2 cars with only 1 win apiece and looking to leave here with a deuce.
We got the Black Sheep versus the Vegemite.
Camera 3.
Yep.
Vegemite leaves first, but Black Sheep starts to surge ahead.
But that lead is short-lived, and Vegemite crosses the finish line first.
Up next, SpongeBob versus Goldfinger.
And SpongeBob was sleeping at the line, and Goldfinger got out in front.
But here comes SpongeBob on the big end and steals that win in the last 100 feet.
Giving SpongeBob his third win. Up next, a couple of wicked-looking cars. Wrecked Vengeance versus HB.
Death Vengeance.
Wrecked Vengeance.
Death Vengeance.
Wrecked Vengeance.
Death Vengeance.
Death Vengeance.
Wreck Vengeance.
Death Vengeance.
Wreck Vengeance.
All right, you get your way. It's Wrecked Vengeance.
See?
That looked like it was going to be a good drag race, but Vengeance gets out to a one-car lead, and HB just can't make up the difference.
Giving Death Vengeance his 4th win.
Mess with the master, will ya? Next to the starting line, the Olds versus the Blue Bell.
Rolling.
The Olds was sleeping and the Bluebell got out by 2 cars.
But here comes that Olds around on the big end and gaps Bluebell for the win.
Giving the Olds his 3rd win of the night.
Next up, Nightwolf versus Louise.
Camera 1.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3. Rolling.
And that race was all Louise, giving Louise her 4th win of the evening.
Next to the line, the Rental versus Triple A.
Camera 3. Rolling. Yep.
It might not be the fastest drag race, but it's a good drag race.
Looked like they were neck and neck. But AAA pulls ahead in the last 100 feet for the win.
Giving Triple A surprisingly his 3rd win.
Up next, it's a rematch. The undefeated Bones Malone versus the Blatzmobile. If I win this one, it could be my last race of the night.
1.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Camera 3.
Rolling.
Yep.
Oh! The Blatzmobile knocks the tires off and crosses center line.
Giving my Bones Malone the automatic win, making him first to 5.
The only car that can stop you now is the Crystal Lee.
Well, we're not going to find out quite yet, because first we have Moxie versus the Cali.
Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3.
Rolling.
Yep.
Well, that race was all Moxie.
That's all right. You didn't lose to no punk. Moxie's an old veteran.
And Moxie takes his 3rd win of the evening.
Next up. Oh, Randy, I take back everything I said about not wanting your wild card 50s car in the race. If you beat this Futura, we're taking that trophy home to the 724, baby.
Well, I'll give her all she's got, Captain.
Camera 3's running.
Well, you wasn't slow off the line, bro.
But all she got wasn't good enough to get around that Futura. And that gives the Crystal Lee her 5th win. That ties her up with Bones Malone for 1st place.
Looks like we're going to get that final after all, Randy. Hang on, kids. It's the Lincoln Futura called Crystal Lee versus the 1960 Corvette with a skeleton behind the wheel called Bones Malone.
This one's for all the marbles.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Now that's a drag race. Those cars left simultaneously, but Bones Malone started to come around at about camera 2 and takes that win by 2 cars, making Bones Malone our winner for night 2 of the Legends of the Streets.
I'm here to present Tony Molick with the 1960 street race winner.
Thank you.
First to 5, great racing.
I really never expected to take that trophy home tonight with this pack of racers we had here.
You won the Underground last season, and you won the 1960 street race this season.
Yep, and that means I'm probably done with wins until next season.
This season, next season, that season, never say never. On any given night, when it comes to slot rods, it's anybody's ball game.
That's for sure. These cars just keep getting faster and faster. There's hardly any ducks anymore.
Yeah, you ain't wrong there, brother. Next time on Back to the Streets, we're going to close out the Legend series with the 1970s race.
Woohoo! Pull out your bell bottoms and your platform shoes.
I'm thinking more like spike collars, leather jackets, and a safety pin through the cheek.
Never had you pegged for an old punk rocker, Randy.
Hey, all this potential for chaos didn't come out of nowhere.
I think the pieces are all falling into place. All right, folks, that's it for us for this episode. Until next time, I'm Tony Molick.
And I'm Randy Silvas.
And you've been watching a production of Slot Rods.
The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. No creeping around though, you just get a glance. Don't try to game, yo, just let the girl dance. The answer is no, you ain't got a chance. She's out of your league, just let the girl dance. You can watch a soul blow from a distance, but give her some bass sign, let the girl dance.
Now that's a drag race.